Welcome to TMZ Live. Prepare to be outraged, because last night we put up on our website a photograph we got, several actually, of 3 members of Congress at the Edinburgh Castle in Scotland. We knew there were some more there. We couldn't positively identify them. Now we know how many went and who is paying.
Yes, the who is paying is the part you will care about, because it's you. Because this is a congressional delegation that is over there, ostensibly on a business trip. But there are 30 members there. Now,
Touring the castle.
Touring the castle. I don't know that the tour itself is part of their duties over there.
What, in case we want to build a castle here?
But we're enjoying some sightseeing while they're over there. Again, we are pointing out these vacations that members of Congress are taking during their 2-week recess, because they're taking it even though the government shutdown they could not end the government shutdown.
So we are going to get into that in a minute with a member of Congress, because this is really outrageous. We will explain why it's outrageous beyond the fact that you're paying for it. Remember, there are thousands of federal workers today, April 1st, who don't know how they're going to pay their rent, who haven't gotten paid for 6 weeks, who don't know how they're going to make their car payments, and they are suffering physically, mentally, and financially because of this. We have asked people to send us pictures of members of Congress, all 535 of them, and we got another one that we posted today of Congressman Jared Moskowitz, who is a congressman from Florida. And
now, what he's doing on the break, I guess, is debatable how much leisure is involved in it. But the photo is of Congressman Moskowitz being the timekeeper at his son's basketball game.
So he's
timekeeper and scorekeeper. We want to give him full credit.
He's doing double duty. His son is 12 years old. And we'll start with the good news. His son won. The bad news is not only could he not avoid a shutdown, he couldn't even keep time right. And the kids screamed at him.
Gosh.
Well, I'm just saying, he couldn't even keep time right. So
I mean, you're going to do the job well.
So guess who we got right now?
Yes.
We got Congressman Moskowitz. So
yes.
Welcome back to TMZ Live.
Yeah. Thanks, Harvey. And yes, the kids did scream at me because I forgot to stop the clock on a timeout.
You see?
How tough is it? I mean, you just hit the thing on you stop it and you start it. Doesn't seem that tough.
Well, I am a government employee, so.
Okay. So, in all seriousness, though, I mean, look, we've been getting all these photos, and yours, certainly, folks would say, look, you're just spending time with your family. But the reality is that there are these government workers out there, Congressman, who are, would love to be spending time with their families, but they've got to be working extra hard. Some of them are not being paid, and we've heard their stories of how they're struggling through this shutdown, and people are outraged that you guys are on break for 2 weeks. To that, you say what?
I say they're right. I say, and the American people are right. While I was at the park, I had Democrats and Republicans come up to me, and independents, by the way, all say it's unacceptable. Why are you guys on break? It's great that you're here, Jared. You're spending time with your family. You're doing what you should be doing. But the fact that people are waiting 3 or 4 hours in line and you guys are on break is unacceptable. It's why many members of Congress have asked the Speaker both this time and the break we had just 2 weeks ago. We had a 1-week break 2 weeks ago in the middle of the shutdown. That also should be canceled.
So why? I mean, you're a Democrat, and Democrats, they're all blaming Republicans. Republicans are blaming Democrats. We have been saying it's both parties. It's all of your faults, that you guys should have compromised, you didn't, and then you bailed. So how do you feel about our position?
Well, listen, I think it's both parties' fault because, both parties right now don't want to make a deal with each other. As far as sending us home, that's Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune. They could have kept us there. Remember, the Senate passed a bill in the middle of the night. Not a single senator was there. They used seated, which is a rare thing to do in the middle of the night. And then they left, while the House was still meeting. They tried to jam us. And then obviously the House Republicans didn't want to take that bill. I mean, listen, Harvey, I think there is a deal, right? Which is fund all of DHS, including ICE, no masks, They got to have warrants, okay, and body cameras.
Exactly what we talked to another congressman about yesterday.
Congressman McCormick from Georgia.
That's exactly what we said.
This.
And then he wanted to add things. See, Congressman Moskowitz, then he wanted to add additional things. And we said, no, just what you said. No masks, search warrants, pass the bill, deal with the other stuff later. And then he started adding things.
Yeah, and so, listen, right now, both parties believe that there is no incentive to make a deal with each other because everyone's worried about the primary on the Republican side and the primary on the Democratic side. And the primary voter does not necessarily want a deal. The majority of Americans want a deal, okay? The general election voter wants a deal, okay? But that is why this is not working, is because there's a belief that there's no political incentive. I will tell you, and I've listened to what you're saying, I think the incentive now for members of Congress is we better make a deal or we're all going to get thrown out.
That's an idea.
Well, where have we heard that idea? You're referring to Outa, which does bring us to the point, and I think you kind of, this is what you're saying. Everybody wants to win. They want to seem like, they want to be able to say, we won and the other side lost, and they're not thinking about the poor government workers who are struggling, and they are losing as you keep fighting over who's really winning this. They're the ones losing. Aren't you concerned that they're going to be the ones who vote during the primary?
Of course. And by the way, there are bills to pay the government workers during the shutdown. We can't move those bills. So these people could have gotten paid this entire time because people view, well, if we pay them, then maybe the shutdown will go on longer. So let's not pay them and use them as a pawn. So there is gamesmanship going on all sides at the expense of the government worker and at the expense of the American people, right? Trying to get home, sitting in line for 3 or 4 hours. Look, the American people know that government is not working. They've known this for a while. But some people are visual learners. Seeing those 4-hour lines at the airport is a visual reminder of how government is just failing the American people.
So let's talk about CODL. It's a congressional delegation that went to Scotland, Edinburgh, Scotland, and we now find out there are 30 members of Congress in this delegation. My understanding was that they weren't supposed to go if there was a government shutdown. So we the people, are footing the bill for 30 congressmen and women to tour the Edinburgh Castle and do whatever they're doing in Scotland. We're footing the bill in the middle of a shutdown, and I thought you weren't supposed to go during a shutdown.
So the policy had been that when there's a shutdown, CODLs are canceled. And by the way, that was the policy when we had a full government shutdown 50 or so days ago before we made the deal to open everything but DHS. I was supposed to go on a CODL, and that was canceled. It appears that that rule doesn't apply if there's only a partial shutdown. But listen, if Speaker Johnson is watching, okay, first of all, when Passover, which starts tonight, and which Easter is on Sunday, when that's over, Speaker Johnson should bring us back Monday, Tuesday next week, and we should pass a rules package, a rules change that now says that if any agency is shut down because Congress refuses to fund it, all CODLs are canceled.
But this one's not.
This one isn't. It's really interesting that it's not. By the way, on those CODLs, Congressman, because we noticed in this photo that we got that some of them have their spouses with them. We're not paying for the spouses, right?
No, we have to pay for that. So we have to pay for the spouse flight.
Wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we have to pay for the spouse flight. We have to pay for the spouse food. Depending upon if there's like something like they're getting a tour, like a cultural tour, the spouses would be able to go on that. If we're getting a briefing with government officials, okay, or having an official government meeting, spouses are not allowed to attend those.
Boy, they seem to work out all the fine points with that. They just can't work it out with the government.
Oh, come on, Harvey. Come on. You want us to be perfect? All right.
Honestly. I mean, look, that would be the aim, but
we appreciate the time, and we also appreciate you just coming on because you're owning what you know, the fact that you're there and not in D.C. and we're going to stay on this, Congressman. Yeah. We want photographs and videos of your colleagues all over the world, it seems, as the government is shut down, at least Homeland Security, and thousands of workers are in food lines and wondering what they're going to, how they're going to pay their bills.
If you think my wife is letting me go to Scotland when I need to be dropping the kids off at school and going to their football games and basketball games and going to Walmart, and you haven't met my wife. I don't get off the hook when I'm home. I have to pick up the slack.
Okay.
All right.
We really appreciate the
Happy
time.
Passover.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Happy Passover. Happy Easter.
Coming up. All right, time for True Confessions from Lizzo, who is talking about her sex life and when her sex life started. She says...
Late in life.
Very late in life. She was in her 30s when she lost her virginity.
Didn't kiss anybody until she was 21.
Be right back. All right, time for True Confessions from Lizzo, who is talking about her sex life and when her sex life started. She says...
Late in life.
Very late in life. She was in her 30s when she lost her virginity.
Didn't kiss anybody until she was 21.
And this was all part of a pact that she had made with herself. And in one sense, maybe you think this is an odd pact, but it also, I think it shows her ambition.
It's bizarre.
I think this is about her ambition.
No, it's bizarre.
So this is what she said. She was on Lil Dicky and Benny Blanco's podcast, Friends Keep Secrets. Apparently not, which is the point of their title.
I was a late bloomer.
26?
It's so embarrassing.
28?
I lied about it for a long time.
Well, yeah, was it really?
Can I just tell you the year?
Mm-hmm.
2024.
2025.
2020.
Oh, really?
Isn't that crazy?
Were you like really like building it up? Were you like excited about it?
No, I wasn't even thinking about it. For me, it was like I just promised myself when I was younger that I wouldn't have sex until I won a Grammy.
The night of the Grammys?
No.
It was not the night of the Grammys, but it was so embarrassing. I was in like a friend group of girls, and we were all girling one night, and it was just like, wait, Lizzo, are you a virgin? And I remember being like, no. I remember it was so embarrassing. I said, I love the I said that.
I mean, I don't get it. Do you realize
I think that's kind of cool that
really?
she knew that was something that she wanted,
Okay, so
a goal she had for herself.
So let me ask you a question. Okay, let's say Tom Cruise made a pact that he wouldn't have sex until he won an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't won an Oscar.
Well, I think he probably would have given up on that.
When?
I don't know.
When?
I don't know.
No, that's
He
important.
probably would have given up on it.
That's important. When?
Tim Tebow says he kept his
Tim Tebow
promise.
was religious, okay?
Right?
But Lizzo also said she was religious.
Yes,
and
Lizzo
this
was very
No,
religious.
but
started
that's not
out
why
as
she
this.
said it. She said she did it because she wanted to win a Grammy first.
Well,
Tom
it
Cruise would
kind
never
of
have sex. Poor
it
Diane
transformed
Warren.
to that. Because she also said, too, that she didn't even share her first kiss until she was 21 and explained that she did have a religious background. Her and her friends, like churchy friends, like all made a pact not to do that. And when she did have her first kiss, she was disappointed because it was on New Year's and she felt like she kind of like was forced into it.
They're not real kisses.
New Year's Eve kisses?
New Year's Eve kisses
They're
not
not
real.
real.
You don't count the New Year's Eve kisses?
They're not real kisses.
Can we have a New Year's Eve kiss?
No.
What the?
God, no.
HR.
Jackie.
It doesn't count.
No,
Pearl
it
Harbor.
counts.
Remember,
Now it
not having
counts.
any office parties on New Year's Eve.
Hi, Kenzie from Ohio here. I love Lizzo. She's so funny. I mean, I appreciate her honesty and vulnerability around such a sensitive topic, especially being a woman in music where you're constantly pressured to be sexualized. And you know what? Manifestation is real. So whatever promise she had to make to herself to manifest that Grammy,
Okay, I
it
gotta
worked.
stop you. If manifestation is real and you really believe that, answer my Tom Cruise question. He's never won an Oscar. If he based it on that, when should he give up, if ever?
He would have just had to have kept manifesting it and really holding himself to that promise, work a little harder.
So basically, he never have sex.
Celibacy.
He's about 68
Come on.
now, something
Come
like
on.
that, 65.
People make resolutions, and sometimes you keep them, and sometimes you're not successful.
Like I said, how long would you wait? This is sort of like the Seinfeld episode.
I'm out. Well, Tiger Woods has made an announcement that seems very obvious.
Yes.
But also seems like something that he's hoping will look good to the court. Announcing that he is stepping away.
Can I say, you make it sound also like it's an afterthought. This is
That
the
was
primary
reason.
Yes.
Right. That he is stepping away from golf and that he is going to be stepping away from golf and public life in general, I think, that he is seeking treatment and that he needs to seek this treatment in order to get his life together. that seemed obvious about an hour after the crash on Friday.
So there are two things going on here. One is it's kind of an acknowledgement that he was indeed driving under the influence.
Little bit.
I mean, that's why else seek treatment.
Isn't that weird, though? Because he's just pled not guilty an hour before his statement. That's what I'm confused.
Your not guilty plea is just for negotiation.
Yeah, that's what confused me a little bit.
No, you plead not guilty. And, and they can still try to fight it.
Yeah.
But the reality is, he's in trouble. I mean, they've got plenty of observations. They have body cam. He admitted that he had taken pills earlier in the day. He had pills in his pocket. So he doesn't really stand much of a chance of winning. This is about sentencing, that the judge can consider the 2017 DUI arrest, even though he didn't ultimately get convicted of DUI. It was a lower offense. He had Vicodin. He had Xanax. He had THC. He had other drugs diluted in his system. And the judges can consider this guy takes drugs and then gets behind the wheel. And he could get jail time. So this is to spare that.
Do you think that's weird? You know what he said after 2017? I'm going to get myself some help. And, maybe he did.
And exactly. And the judge may say, yeah, I've heard this story before.
That's right.
And it just may not work.
But he's going to do it before the hearing.
But he also, and this may help with whatever the negotiations are on a plea deal with the prosecutors, right? But the problem is the prosecutors may say, all right, we'll allow you to plead guilty for this. But the judge doesn't have to stick to whatever it is the prosecutors agree to, right? The judge can say, no, I think it should be a stiffer sentence.
Yeah,
I mean within a guideline, right?
Yeah, the judge has a lot of. The judge gives prosecutors a lot of leeway. You're right. At a point, they can reject the plea. That's unusual, highly unusual. It can happen. But this is clearly a maneuver to avoid jail. That's
and he could serve up to a year in jail.
That's right.
If he were
because
convicted.
there was property damage and makes it a class 1 misdemeanor in Florida. That's a year. And on top of that, 60 days max for failing to take the urine test as asked. So he's in trouble, and that's why he's doing this. We will see.
Hi, it's Laverne over in Los Angeles, and I just want to say we are not utilizing public shame nearly enough. Didn't we just see Chappell Roan get globally dragged last week for far less? I just find it funny that when it's a man and it's Tiger Woods, it's focused on his redemption and his recovery. And presidents, whether it be of the, a golf or the country, they're calling him a great man. But you don't see much focus on the victims. You don't see much focus on the people he could have hurt. People die and lose loved ones because of DUIs every day. And I can let you know, if he was a woman, she would be treated very differently.
Maybe. I guess it depends on who it is.
I agree with you that there's been a remarkable amount of grace given to Tiger Woods over the years. But I've heard some people that it's running out. For a lot of people, it's running out now.
Hank, I'm sorry. I don't want to diminish what you said because what you said is valid. But can I just tell you, as soon as you said your name, I thought of Airplane, and you made me smile because your last name is Over. You remember the scene in Airplane when they were, Roger, over. And I thought you could actually be in the control tower. That would have been funny. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm happy to be on. And a lot of people don't even recognize my name. It's just like this super vintage name. And my mom's name is Shirley. So we're Laverne and Shirley.
Are you serious? You swear to God.
There's information you should
You swear to God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Cute, right?
Shirley.
Oh my God.
Coming up.
Well, the summer house scandal is only getting worse, I think, for Amanda and West.
Sierra doesn't own West because she was with him at one point. So this girl code just sounds stupid to me.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
Phoebe Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. Well, the summer house scandal is only getting worse, I think, for Amanda and West. So just to catch up, folks who don't know about the Bravo show, basically what happened is, unless you want to tell them. No, you want me to?
So what happened is one of them is separated.
Amanda.
Amanda is separated from her husband.
Yeah, Amanda separated from her husband.
Wes ended up hooking up with Amanda's
best
friend. And
Sierra.
Right. And Amanda feels like this is a felonious violation of the girl code.
Yeah, you screwed it up. You're almost there. So Amanda gets separated and then ends up hooking up with West. The problem here is that Amanda and Sierra are best friends, and Sierra
it's a girl code thing.
Right, and Sierra looks like she's roadkill in this whole thing, and fans are very upset.
Oh, right,
By the way,
right.
Those fans include Jon Hamm, who was on Watch What Happens Live last night and talked about running into Sierra and talking about this whole scandal.
West Wilson and Amanda released that statement. I know you saw Sierra last night.
I did, on the red carpet. I had no idea what was to be revealed.
But maybe there was a little hint because you asked her how she was doing and she said...
Well, I think she's something like, I've been better.
Right.
How you feeling?
Wonderful, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Well, I've been better.
Aww.
Okay, well, I mean, I've been better.
You gotta feel bad.
I've been
Sierra.
better is hardly circling the drain.
Reality show fans are. Wow.
Well,
maybe you got to look underneath what's really going on with Sierra.
I've got to dig under for code.
Dig deeper. You know who digs deeper on all of this stuff is Dana Reagan, who is the host of the Bravo Investigator podcast. We have some Bravo investigators in this office, but Dana, I imagine you have been extremely busy since Amanda and West decided to reveal this.
Absolutely. It has been a minefield of just finding all of those little Easter eggs like we did with Scandival, them wearing the same hats, wearing the same sweatshirts, who's liking whose photos, who's seeing who on the street in New York. It's been a time where the community, as a Bravo community, has really been able to band together as baby private investigators to figure this out.
I got to ask you a question. So the way I understand this, you got Sierra, you got Amanda, and you got West. And West.
Yeah.
And they all knew each other, right?
Very well.
So Sierra is with Wes for a while, and they break up. And then Amanda, who is now single, hooks up with Wes because they were friends, and then they started having feelings for each other, and then they acted on their feelings.
Right.
Amanda doesn't own... rather, Sierra doesn't own West because she was with him at one point. So this girl code just sounds stupid to me.
Well, I was going to explain girl code to you, and I feel like it's this concept, though, where when you have a friendship, there's a level of disrespect that comes with going for someone that your friend has had feelings for. How are you all supposed to hang out together? That would be such a bizarre circumstance. So there are reasons why girl code exists. And I do understand from Sierra's perspective, because I know that most people believe that they only dated for a couple of months, like 2.5 years ago. But rumors have been circulating that they were actually hooking up much more recently than that.
So it's like a dog that pees and marks its territory.
Yeah.
I was kidding. But yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
So I know that you've been digging into this, Dana, and I'm going to throw a theory out at you because there's something that Sierra posted that makes my conspiratorial brain think this was all planned. So here's Sierra using her own show's scandal to promote Jon Hamm's show where she was working on the red carpet. She said, if you can't trust your friends and neighbors, who can you trust? Season 2 premieres Friday on Apple TV.
That's hardly a hint. That's a megaphone.
It just seems like all of this is to promote the fact that the reunion for Summer House is coming up. And now they know they're going to get... It's almost like they're taking the Scandival playbook. Hopefully it doesn't end with the show ending, but it seems like they're taking that same playbook.
Except being more blatant about it.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, these people are on a show. They want that show to continue. The more they lean into it, though, the more it becomes a scandal for us. Because if this whole cast stayed quiet, then there would be a lot less for us to be doing. But I don't think that any of this is fake or created for the reunion and for the season, because the show is already doing so well as it is.
I just want to get back to this girl code thing one more time. So
Sorry.
I know people who have been married and then they divorce, and then one of them remarries. And especially if they have kids, the other person has to get used to the fact that her her ex-husband, now has a new wife. And they're able to coexist. What's the difference here? Because, yeah, maybe it's hard for Ciara to continue a friendship, but either she wants to or she doesn't. And if she doesn't, she moves on. And if she does, he gets over the fact that she was at one point with West for a couple of months.
But then her job is in jeopardy, because it's one thing where couples move on and end up in other relationships, but they don't all live in a house together on television.
Oh, so it is about TV.
That's the main
then.
difference.
So it is about TV.
Even outside of the show, the group does all hang out together. So how is that supposed to happen either? But on your point, I do want to, give you a little bit here, Harv, because Lindsay and Danielle and Carl also all dated each other. And Lindsay and Danielle were very close friends. So Carl and Danielle dated initially.
Then he dated giving us 3 other names now that we're
okay, I barely have West.
We barely got
These
West.
are all people from Summer House.
I know. Okay.
But just on a somewhat serious note, if this is all real, as you seem to suspect it is there an issue here for Ciara as far as race is concerned?
It is something that she talked about in recent episodes, where the whole interracial aspect of dating a white person was very complicated for her, because the feedback that she ends up getting from the fans tends to be, look at you being played by a white boy. And I actually just posted about this yesterday on my podcast, where I was talking about, you have West dating her and saying, she's not good enough to be my girlfriend. Then you have the same thing with, what's the other guy's name? Sorry, she's got West. She had Austin.
Oh my God!
So there's just all of these white guys.
It's even confusing you
when
when you've got a podcast.
Yeah. But I could see where, and I didn't realize that she was getting that kind of backlash online. So I can see where it definitely lands on her that way.
Okay, we got a lot of names to remember. We really appreciate you coming on.
We'll see where this goes.
I think it's about TV.
Thank you so much.
I think this is about a TV show. I just do.
It can be about both. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
Settled.
There. Compromise. If only Congress could do that.
If only Congress.
Coming up.
Leslie Jones weighing in on marriage. Now, Leslie has not been married, but she was on Z-Way's podcast, and it came up.
I think marriage is legalized slavery.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Leslie Jones weighing in on marriage. Now, Leslie has not been married, but she was on Z-Way's podcast, and it came up. I'm sure Leslie has heard this question probably from family members. When are you going to get married? When are you going to get married?
She had a good answer.
It doesn't sound like it's something she's rushing into.
Could you be a trad wife is what I'm asking.
Trad wife meaning like I'd be at home and no.
Like making Oreos from scratch.
I don't absolutely not.
Why not?
Because that's not who I am, and my daddy didn't raise me like that. Most of the people that I know that's gotten married are divorced now.
And so, really, that's an indictment of the institution.
Yeah. I think marriage is legalized slavery.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Say more, because if I'm thinking about slavery and I'm thinking about marriage, there are two different images that come into my head.
Absolutely not. I don't know how you don't. A man is, especially if he's expecting you to be a trad wife, you might as well pull out a whip and a chain.
Wow. So there are young people watching who might be wanting to get married. What would you say to them?
Don't.
Don't get married.
No.
God, I love her.
Okay. Let's, because
I know what
we are
you're
very sensitive to slavery metaphors here in this office.
I understand that, but slavery is not the same, but there is a metaphor she's using to make a point that a trad wife, in her view, and I think you could broaden this out to marriage generally, but a trad wife is, the vows include the word obey. And it's like when you have to obey your husband, you're getting into that metaphor.
But usually, if you use the obey, well, actually,
why did they have obey?
They would do it both ways if you're using the obey.
Right, but
a lot of people don't use obey anymore.
But a trad wife would, and her point is the notion of having to obey your husband.
Did you have obey in your vows?
I obey my wife if I want to go along living.
Yeah, but that's not right. You know that.
No, I'm just joking.
And you're not serious.
But no, I'm not serious. But also, why is she speaking on marriage? She's never been.
She was asked the question.
She's never been in a marriage.
For a reason. For a reason. That she can have a relationship and she can be with the person as long as she and the other person want to stay together. And when they don't, they split up.
You do know there is somewhere in the middle where you're in a happy relationship where you both,
But why can't you be in a happy relationship without a piece of paper?
I mean, I guess you can.
Well, then why not?
Can I be the party pooper for a second?
With
Sure.
one.
Can I just be the party pooper for a second?
Sure.
You can make your point about marriage and that's not for you and that there are things about it that, but to compare it to slavery, and Ziwe was appropriate in the moment to say, I've got two different images in my mind. When you think about slavery, you think about marriage, definitely different images come to mind. Even if you are an opponent of marriage, you don't think of the same images you think of when you, you're right. And I get that, and I do think
But
there's an element that,
it's a loose metaphor.
I think Leslie was, because you saw at the end she was smiling. I think part of this was her being a comedian.
I don't.
I think she is opposed to marriage, but I think she got it extreme for the sake of comedy.
How do you feel about marriage, Charles?
What?
No, well, you haven't said.
Hunter B. King out of East St. Louis. I disagree with Leslie Jones. Marriage can be beautiful, and a lot of us, we don't put God as the head of our foundation. So a lot of us are driven by our own lust, our own selfish ambition, our own pleasures. And yes, sometimes it can feel like slavery, especially when you have a person going in of what they want, what I want, instead of what are our morals, what are our principles, what do we both want, how can we both be satisfying to each other.
By the way, you could have God as the foundation in your relationship without marriage.
But what if you have neither?
Well, never mind.
You're led by any and everything. You can change today or tomorrow. One day you may feel this way. One day you feel like, hey, let's try this in the bedroom. I want to try this. Yes, let's bring out the chain of the whip. You're not cooking me these, like, you're being...
Let her go. I'm into this.
My point is you're being led by what you feel. You know what I mean? Not
what we feel.
By what your marriage is like.
That part right there, you're right. It should be about whatever we want, whatever we're going to do.
That was good.
That's how I feel, Devin.
Thanks. I would like to hear Kylie Jenner on Outa.
You're right. I would love to hear Kylie Jenner's opinion about Outa.
Me too.
You're not going to hear that.
I want to hear
Probably ever. But you will hear her talk about her family, talk about her relationship with Timothy Chalamet.
We're actually doing this right now. I didn't realize that.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we are.
Okay.
So you're not getting Outa. Sorry. News break. But yes. So Kylie was on Kid Cudi's podcast. And by the way, Kylie doesn't do a lot of podcasts. We don't think about it.
No, that's true.
The only time you really hear Kylie say anything is on that show. And if you don't watch that show, then you maybe have never heard her.
That's true.
So she sat down to do a whole interview. And yes, she was asked about Timothy's career. This is what she had to say.
What is your favorite movie of Timmy's? I need to know. Like, what's the one movie?
That's hard for me because I feel like I really love them all.
Yeah.
But Call Me By Your Name is pretty, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just pretty perfect. And I really love The Dunes.
Yeah, The Dunes are strong. And
Yeah.
I'm ready for that new one in December.
Me too.
And I've seen all in the theater with him for the most part. And you were there when we saw Wonka.
Oh, I mean, I saw it 7 times. When did we see it together?
We saw 7 times. Yeah.
I actually think that pick for her favorite movie is interesting.
So it's his first big one.
First big one, but
put him on
also,
the map.
But maybe his most deep acting. Like, maybe you wouldn't expect her.
He was great. Timothy Chalamet was great in that movie.
Yeah.
He was great. So was Armie Hammer, by the way.
This is the issue I have with her pick. Great movie, phenomenal movie. But she picked 2 of his most popular movies. She said Dunes and Call Me By Your Name.
I don't know.
Call Me By Your Name is what put him on the map. And then Dunes is huge.
I thought she was going to pick.
Call Me By Your Name was not a...
Lady Bird.
No. The
Wonka?
Wonka. Willy Wonka.
But again,
She
a
barely
super
remembered
popular
seeing it,
movie.
even though she
I
saw
feel
it 7
like when I'm hearing from the partners of an actor, I don't want to hear the
Call Me By Your Name is a good choice.
But Call Me By Your Name was not a box office, was not a huge box office
film. But it's what put
film.
Timothy Chalamet on the map. It's really what put him on the map.
Right, for a reason.
Right, that's fine. But I'm like, I want to see I would want to hear her say that.
If I said to you, what's your favorite? What's his name?
Who?
Your favorite Armie Hammer?
No.
I have to say, please don't say Armie. I don't know any. Denzel Washington?
Brad Pitt.
No, Bradley Cooper. What's your favorite Bradley Cooper movie? What would you say?
Silver Linings Playbook.
Okay, well, that's a good one. I was
That's a
thinking
very good one.
a lot of people would say Hangover because it put him on the map.
Coming up.
Jen Shah, the former member of Real Housewives of Salt Lake.
Defrauder of old people.
Defrauder of old people who went to prison. So she is now speaking out. She got out, and this is her first interview where she's talking about the experience in prison.
Be right back.
Okay, a little more image rehabilitation. We heard about Tiger Woods and his approach earlier. Now, Jen Shah, the former member of Real Housewives of Salt Lake.
Defrauder of old people.
Defrauder of old people who went to prison. So she is now speaking out. She got out, and this is her first interview where she's talking about the experience in prison. Now, she was not in, definitely wasn't maximum security. I don't know if it was minimum.
I think it was white collar. She hadn't had.
And maybe it was. She was down in Texas. I think she was in the prison where Ghislaine Maxwell is now.
And Elizabeth Holmes.
That's right. Yes. That's right, in Bryan, Texas. And it has been described as sort of
minimum.
You know.
Especially when they've talked about Ghislaine, that it's.
When they call it a prison camp, immediately people think it's kind of soft. But this is what Jen told people about her experience.
You hear all these things, right? Where, oh, it's a camp, it's a federal camp, it's Camp Cupcake. It's not. It's prison. And I guess I didn't know what to expect physically, right? And seeing it for the first time, but when I walked in there, it took my breath away. And I just thought, this cannot be where I'm gonna be. Like, this is where I'm going to be every day.
Here's the problem. No one's going to feel sorry for her.
No, and also,
because of the crime.
But she's also.
She can cry, and I'm sure she actually, I'm not saying she didn't actually feel that way, but no one's going to
but here's why.
Feel sorry for her.
She had, I believe, an opulent type life.
Yes.
And then when you compare the opulent life to kind of a Spartan existence, which a prison camp is, it's radical. But it ain't what prison is for a lot of people. It's just not.
Yeah, that's the other part. They're not going to feel sorry for her because it could have been a lot worse.
Right.
Another interesting part from this interview was she talks about her time that she spent with Ghislaine Maxwell. And she said she's like the most pure, evil woman. She had no remorse for the victims when, stuff about Jeffrey Epstein would come up on like the news in prison. That she's just a very cold, evil person.
Is she going back on this housewife show?
No. And Andy's adamant that he will not have her on. The crimes she committed, he doesn't think were fair because they involved elderly people. I could see in so many years they look back and say, you know what, maybe she's gotten her act together. She's a different person now. It's kind of crazy. I mean, this is something they would normally lean into,
I'm Alex from Southwest Florida, and I think it's great that she's taking accountability, but she's doing an interview. What else is she supposed to do at the same time? It's kind of hard to feel any type of remorse whenever she did what she did, and she didn't serve her full sentence and comes from such a place of privilege. Like y'all said, no one's really going to be too sorry for her.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming up.
Well, the UFC's latest collab went down as promised with the FBI.
And we both said that when they did this, Kash Patel would be front and center, and guess what? He was.
Be right back.
Well, the UFC's latest collab went down as promised with the FBI.
And we both said that when they did this, Kash Patel would be front and center, and guess what? He was.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is all part of the lead up to the UFC's White House bout. When does that go down? In June? That's right, June 14th. And part of this, the roll up to that, they decided they'd have UFC fighters training FBI agents in some hand-to-hand combat.
This is
Kash Patel, as we said,
promo
was front and center.
There he is.
There.
He's got his UFC.
PR move.
Yeah, his UFC and FBI sweatshirt on. I really don't think it was. I mean, look, yes, was it a PR move? Yes.
It's a promo for June.
It's a promo for June. That's all it is.
It is a promo.
It's that and Kash Patel in
June.
Come on. This is all about Kash Patel being a huge sports fan.
So little Johnny Smith out there says, oh, Kash Patel worked out with Justin Gaethje, so I'm going to watch the UFC card. No, this is effective and it will save lives because cops, that feel competent with their hands and with their weapons, then don't have to go to guns, and guns kill people.
Well, then do it with
punches
ICE.
Don't. Well, it's not a bad idea.
But why'd they choose the FBI?
It's not because Cash Patel.
Cash
and
Patel
Dana White.
wanted to be there.
Sure. No, you're right.
This is about Cash being a huge sports fan.
Right.
Hey, it's AF from Florida. I definitely support it. You know, it's going to help people react better in tough situations. So it's a really tough thing to not be supportive of. I think it's a great idea.
I mean,
it would be one thing.
It doesn't outrage me.
If it happened in a vacuum, it doesn't outrage me, but let's call it what it is. This is a promo.
I know, but this is like
the fight, which is fine.
I know, but you know, there's some people getting outraged about it. It's like the Kid Rock thing with the helicopter. Like, I can't get outraged at everything. It's like I just don't care. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Hey, I'm Stacy out of Oakland. We're talking about Congress members in Scotland on our dime.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. And one of the guys, Van Orden, said his wife has like a bad health prognosis, but as a regular American, you know, I'm just worried about getting my bills paid if I find out I'm sick. I'm not going on vacation, especially not on other people's dime.
Yeah, they're literally they failed to open the Department of Homeland Security, and they're in Scotland.
Your
it's
tax dollars.
Outrageous. This one I'm outraged at. One more.
Mari, Atlanta, Georgia, Leslie Jones. So I can see her perspective regarding marriage being slavery, especially if you marry the wrong person, because nowadays people don't need to get married for benefits or buying homes or anything like that. So if you marry the wrong person, it can be low-key like slavery.
By the way, I think there are a lot of people who would challenge you on that you do need to get married for benefits and funding. Anyway.
What about the slavery part?
No, not the slavery part.
Coming up.
So I like talking about real estate, okay?
Mm-hmm. You're quite baronial.
And there are some places where you get a bang for your buck and some places you don't. Kaia Gerber just sold her Soho apartment in New York for $5.5 million. And here's what they got.
Be right back.
So I like talking about real estate, okay?
Mm-hmm. You're quite baronial.
And there are some places where you get a bang for your buck and some places you don't. Kaia Gerber just sold her Soho apartment in New York for $5.5 million. And here's what they got. It's a beautiful living room, okay?
It looks nice.
Looks nice.
How big is the place? Anyone know square footage?
2,100 square feet.
That's a lot of space in New York.
Okay. Charles, did you see a kitchen?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a...
I know, but they're not showing it. Because everything...
There it is. There's the kitchen.
That's a kitchen.
Yeah, that's pretty nice, actually.
I didn't say
it's pretty nice, actually.
Okay, I didn't say it's not nice, but it's like, this is $5.5 million.
2,100 square feet in Manhattan.
You can go to North Carolina and get a mansion.
Well, of course.
Half the price.
Yes. Guess what? And you could go move back to Reseda, your hometown.
Okay.
You know what you could get for your money?
Don't get crazy.
All right.
Location.
Location.
We'll see you tomorrow.